So, we're back. My name is Casey,
And I'm KY.
and this is
Initial Impact.
So, on this Initial Impact, we just revived our podcast, and after nearly a month of inactiveness.
Yeah, it's because we are kind of busy, but we're back anyway, so
Yeah, our main issues with our old podcast style content is that it's too short, 3 minutes, and it's very tiring to have a consistent schedule because it's a video podcast. So now the video podcast is scrapped, and what we left here is the audio only podcast. Okay, so we're gonna start with the latest news, Pixel 6 series.
the new Pixel.
Yeah,
Really great.
indeed. This Monday, Google unveiled the next generation, Pixel 6 and Pixel 6.
I heard there's a new chip in
Yeah, it's launched with a new discrete chip, the discrete system on chip called the Tensor, the Google Tensor.
Oh, Google Tensor? You mean that GPU architecture?
No, not really. It's the Google Tensor, the new, similar to the Apple M1 chips and iPhone Bionic chips. It's like a dedicated system on chip for the next generation Pixel 6 device. It's gonna launch in fall along with the new hardware. Yeah.
Oh, that Tensor.
I see that you're familiar with Qualcomm.
Yeah, of course, the most famous and one of the best chip making company for Android smartphones.
Yeah, indeed. Google relied too much on its Qualcomm processors, so they're designing their very own, very in-house processors. But this in-house processor isn't a very new thing. Apple M1 is also made of it. Samsung made Exynos, Huawei made Kirin. These are all the companies that make chips instead of Qualcomm.
But M1 is slightly different. That's for laptops, but I believe in the future Apple will integrate it for its phone for more performance.
Yeah, something like Google Tensor is trying to achieve. By designing its own processors, it serves as the brain of the device, which allows Google to have a more custom chip, more features. That is still
When
more
you say
important.
feature, do you mean that's going to track you easier through the chip because it's in-house and doesn't have other qualifications?
Well, not really. I think it still has to compile with most qualification, but this new chip, it comes with a new radical architecture design. Of course, it still uses the ARM-based architecture, but it got a new features, including processing on the device instead of on the cloud, which means, as you said just now, it's actually more privacy oriented.
Okay. I think mainly it's because Google has lost many of its customers' trust because of this trust issue.
The trust issue. There's been a long campaign against Google non-trust issues, which they are trying to resolve with this new Tensor chip.
Turns out like it want to prevent more people leaking into other companies like Apple. So I think Google will be doing a great job this time.
It will be a great job. And looking at the Pixel 6 design, it's really radical and really looks very minimal and beautiful overall. This new Google Pixel 6 and the series has a new front punch hole camera, which is similar to the Samsung, and a back camera that looks like a strip of premium glass. It looks so nice.
Yeah, quite minimal, and I heard that it serves a lot of functionality.
Yeah, it might have a 3 cameras update. I'm not sure, but we have to wait for that. So
Seems like a refresh to
Yeah, a
the
refresh.
all smartphones look nearly the same, neither the notch, punch hole, and overall they look all the same. But this is a good refreshing change to the smartphone industry.
yeah, indeed. So when the Mac switched to M1, battery life boost almost around 50%. So we can expect similar features. And not to mention that the premium pairings of the Tensor chip with Android 12 will make this Pixel lineup exciting and more premium. Moving on, we're going to talk about WhatsApp's self-destruct features. WhatsApp just recently
I
announced...
haven't heard much about it. Could you explain it?
Yeah, it just announced a
Okay.
new View Once photo and video to chat. This View Once is a sort of like a Snapchat integration of disappearing message. The phones and videos will disappear after they have been opened, which you can use to save usage.
Definitely a byproduct of the users must sign up for the terms and conditions to give their data to Facebook. I see.
Yeah, I don't think this is actually a good point because this thing is used to cover up the sensitive content like Wi-Fi passwords, for example. Although there's a very weird caveat that you still be able to screenshot the sensitive content,
Yeah.
which actually kills the
The
purpose.
purpose, and people can even just write it down.
That's all for our first, actually not the first, our 10th podcast, but our first revamped podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in on this week's Initial Impact, bringing to you the latest impact on society and technology. Hope you learned something new to make an impact in the world. See you next week. Same impactful day, same impactful content.